Hi, I'm Jack.
And I am Deborah, and welcome to the LTU show.
Now for the next half an hour, we're going to be exploring the creative side of Leeds. We'll be dropping in at rehearsals for a community theatre group.
Our roving reporter Alex is introduced to the joys of breakdancing.
And we'll be meeting the special effects expert behind these sorts of scenes.
And I am Darren, and I'm at the entrance of the Leeds Trinity University campus, and I'm only here because I have been given a challenge to go through every single bit of creative art in the whole university. But, you know, I've got my good running shoes on, and let's see how I get on.
I am so glad it's Darren, not me.
Same here, my man. All that and much more coming up. So, sit back and enjoy. Guys, I hope you are feeling creative because we certainly are. And I must admit, I've been amazed to see just how much art and culture goes on in the city.
Yes, the city has been home to creative celebs, including the Kaiser Chiefs, Mel B, Peter O'Toole, not to mention literally thousands of talented amateurs.
It's funny you mentioned talented amateurs there, Deborah, because we've got one on our team. Darren, where are you, my man?
I'm just outside the Mary Halliwell Lecture Theatre, and just behind me, we've got so much photography on display. Beautiful work, beautiful lighting, so much detail. And now we've got a bit of a section here, intimacy and human connection. You can see so much collaboration and kindness here being shown through photography. And I can tell you for sure, they are not amateurs because they do know their work. We've got the lasting impact of the music industry. So vibrant, so alive. I wish I could be there, to be honest, but I've got to get going. Otherwise, I'll run out of time. So let's get on.
That's the spirit. Keep it up, Darren. Only another couple minutes to go. Now, next up on the show, we take a cerebral visit to the most prestigious art venue in Leeds, the city's art gallery, which is currently hosting the Found Cities Lost Objects exhibition.
It's an exhibition which provides a view of urban cityscapes through the eyes of women and gender non-conforming artists. Sebastian went along to take a look.
Since 1888, Leeds Art Gallery has been a place where cultures collide and merge to create an extravagant amount of different art pieces that cover a range of themes. Most recently, it held Found Cities Lost Objects, which was curated by Labena Hibbett. We interviewed curator of contemporary art, Nigel Walsh, to talk about the art in Leeds Gallery.
So you might wonder why we're sitting in this room full of old stuff. But actually, it was, in its day, it was new stuff. And the pictures in here, there's some sculpture as well, but they're mainly paintings, were all mainly given. Some were bought, but they were mainly given by people in Leeds. And it's, in a way, telling a story of what those people who came to the gallery in those first 20-odd years might have seen here. So we are effectively a gallery of modern art. I remember at school when we were taught by the art teacher about art. It was a complete revelation to me, how it's not just nice things, but actually there's a whole world of things behind it, ideas, how it reflects the times in which it was made, their historical documents, as well as being things that we like to look at. But they're never, and it's the uncertainty of them as well. They're hard to pin down. You can look at something and think you know what the narrative is behind it, and then a few years later you discover something else and it changes. So they're both products of the time in which they were made, and they're part of our own economy of looking as well.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. Love that. Now, it's important to remember that anyone, and I mean anyone, could be an artist. To remind ourselves of this, we went to a bastion of communal art, the Meanwood Road project, started by neighbours Lizzie Coombs and Katie Haley. The project began in autumn of 2021 and has provided a variety of workshops to the local community. Our reporter Sebastian went along to find out more. Have a look.
We travelled to Meanwood Valley Farm to meet up with Lizzie, who started the Meanwood Road project with her neighbour Katie in autumn 2021. They've been providing art to the community ever since. What started from walks and talks has progressed to workshops and even tracking the local wildlife.
And I started the Meanwood Road project about 7 years ago, and it started after, when I was parking my car, there was somebody yelling and screaming at me because I'd stopped them from their journey down the road, and I was like trying to work out how to do something creative rather than just feel annoyed by somebody just being cross because I was parking outside my house. And so I started to look at how could I change the feel of this road to a street by doing creative sort of interventions, really. So it started like that, and that was about me mapping the road, and I walked up and down it with a storyteller, and we took photographs and we made that into a map, but nothing really changed. Just making a map and sending it out didn't really do anything. And it wasn't until COVID hit and the road went quiet and that people started coming out of their houses that we started to kind of find the community. There's a community on a long road. It's quite a difficult thing to find because we're quite divided by, as you can see, this busy road that's going behind us. And so when COVID hit, we started to think about how could we sort of work with all the different people in the neighbourhood. And that's when we really sort of started the Meanwood Road project as a kind of a bigger endeavour, really. All the interventions that we make creatively to slow the road down. I'd like the pavements to be wider. I'd like people to drive slower. I'd like it to be a place where people feel safe to cycle. And I'd like it to be a place where people appreciate it, not just as a means of going from A to B, but as a place where people live, where people work, where people visit. There's the beautiful Meanwood Valley Urban Farm literally behind us. So we've got a lot of really beautiful assets in the community, but I think that would be my measure of success, that it changed from a road to a street.
Meanwood is so beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, we've been told Darren has now arrived at the next art installation on the trail. Darren, tell us what you can see, dude.
Well, I've gone a long way around there, but I've now finally made it to the Wall of Fame. We've got former Leeds Trinity University students on this wall who have gone down the path of music, media, sport, and really have made a great presence in the industry. And talking of the creative industry, have you ever been to the Corn Exchange? It is a beautiful place full of wonderful opportunities for people to share their desires and what they love doing and art. It's absolutely wonderful. But unfortunately, I can't waffle on about that for too long. I've got to keep up on my run for my challenge. But Sebastian can tell you all about it, but I'll be off on my way.
Hello, and we're here at the Leeds Corn Exchange, here to interview some of the local businesses on how creativity is in Leeds. Come on, let's take a look. The building was designed by Cuthbert Broderick, a Hull architect, in 1863, and designed it in an Italian style, much like he did with the Leeds Town Hall. The Corn Exchange reopened in November 2008 as a boutique shopping centre. As of 2019, the Corn Exchange is home to around 30 independent retailers and food outlets. So, what's your favourite type of creative art?
Well, obviously you've walked into a yarn shop, so anything fibre related. I do anything from knitting, crocheting, spinning, weaving. Pretty much anything. As long as it's fibre related, I'm there for it.
What's the best way to support local artists?
I think there's lots of ways of supporting local artists. There's lots of campaigns, for example, like Just a Card, and sometimes it can just make a difference of supporting a small business with just that small purchase. You could go into, I don't know, any other supermarket to buy a birthday card, but there's lots of independent shops where you could also buy a birthday card, and that will make a big difference to a small business. So it's those small acts that all of us can do.
We also had the opportunity to interview Giant Kitten, an independent store that specialises in quirky gifts and handmade prints. So could you just show us some of the designs you do here?
Yeah, so everything on this row is one of my designs, starting with the Neon Lucky Cat. Then you've got the moon phase print, the Dilf one, and the worm on a string. I've tried to do several different designs that are from like different themes, different ideas, different color palettes, so that it's appealing to everybody from all kinds of backgrounds, which is what we try and do here. We're offbeat shopping for creative people, as my boss likes to say.
And that's all for the Leeds Corn Exchange. See you guys back at the studio.
Still to come, we have live music here in the studio, and we'll be talking to one of the most creative women in the city, who has written the scripts for some of the most successful TV dramas around, and also co-written and produced a new Channel 4 drama about Leeds Dance School. That's in a minute.
But first, from one creative woman to another, Sarah Autumn.
Yes, Sarah is one of the people behind the unique arts-based community project in Burley.
She's a creative community organiser connected with Arts Together in the Left Bank Leeds. She spoke to our good friend Alex. Let's have a look.
So I'm a community artist, and I use the term creative community organiser. So organising communities around issues, things that matter to them, using art practices. I'm involved with various venues and organisations that are offering these kind of things. So one I'd love to mention, because we're here, is Canal Connections, who are a community boating company, and they will do arts workshops with the people that come on the boats. So whether that's young children, they have a healthy or Happy Wednesdays, which is a group of adults who come and do artwork. There's Left Bank Leeds, which is a community arts venue up on Cardigan Road, a beautiful Grade 2 listed renovated building. And within that, we have something called Creative Wednesdays, which is a big mishmash of all different kind of arts groups with a community focus, i.e. accessible, free or low cost art. Leeds won City of Culture 2023. So last year there was a whole year of culture celebrated. So I would say it's full of diverse communities, different music scenes. It's in the north, so it's still relatively affordable. There's just so many events all the time. You have to go to Leeds Inspired website and just scroll, and you see there's just such a broad range of events. It's hard to highlight one over another.
And I wonder how many people in Leeds know that all that is going on and it's something anyone can get involved with. Amazing.
That is amazing, yeah. Now, one of the projects Sarah talked about there was the Left Bank Community Centre, and Alex went along to find out more about that. Let's have a look.
What does Left Bank mean to you?
It is a place where I get to be with like loads of other people and like chat and do the creative activities that, good for my own mental well-being. But like looking around Left Bank, there's like so many different groups. There's breakdancing happening behind us, we're doodling here, there's art workshops, there's poetry going on over there, there's a knitting group around the corner. Like so many people come here to kind of be in a safe, welcome, inclusive space.
Do you think breakdancing is a form of art itself?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's an art form, and it keeps growing. And the more generations continue, the more fresh ideas come around. Like every art form has like a foundation, fundamentals. So with breaking, we have top rock, footwork, power, and freezes. And with these 4 fundamentals, you learn different moves from the OGs, and then from there you start to build your own character, your own flavour off those moves. And then obviously it keeps evolving and evolving to a point where you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Like people are doing insane things with their body. And
this has been an absolutely wonderful experience here at Left Bank Leeds, and it really proves that there are hidden art gems within Leeds. You just got to find it really close. Time has absolutely flown by, and I've met some wonderful people here, creative people who want to explore, try new things. They serve food, and it's just very welcoming, and I would highly recommend for people to go here more.
Well, let's see if Darren's managed to see any more art on the trail. Darren, where are you now?
Oh, I've just made it to the LTU chaplaincy, and I wish I had a little bit more time to go over how wonderful the chaplaincy is. There's so much to look at, and let's take a look now. But before we do, we've got to be very quiet because it is a place of prayer and worship. The doors will open automatically, and there is an explosion of different arts and sculptures. It is wonderful just to be in here. We've got painted glass here with a lot of color, very vibrant, and all the way over at the front, we've got the cross made by Charles Anston and Roger Sayer. But I don't have time. Lisa is going to talk in the studio now, so I'll be on my way.
Thank you, Darren. Now, if you've enjoyed TV dramas like Call the Midwife, All Creatures Great and Small, or Midsummer Murders, then the chances are you'll be watching scenes written by our very next guest.
Lisa Holsworth is not just a professional scriptwriter, but also a producer, executive producer, former chair of the Writer Guilds of Great Britain, and former chair of the Royal Television Society Yorkshire Centre, and based right here in Leeds. Hello, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. So, you get her okay?
Yes, I live just down the road. I'm Leeds born and bred.
Oh,
so
that's brilliant for us.
Yeah,
yeah. So, former chair of the Writers Guild of Great Britain. Can you tell us what that type of role entails?
So the Writers Guild of Great Britain is the trade union for writers in the UK. We look after all writers, books, TV, theatre, video games, comedy, radio, across the board, audio drama as we call it now.
Yeah.
So we negotiate minimum terms, make sure writers are being treated well, and obviously support our international colleagues. So we had a lot to do with the American strike last year. And we lobby in Parliament as well, so we're pretty busy. We are small but mighty.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
You also have a new upcoming drama, which is
Dance School. Is there any way we could hear that? There's NDAs and stuff. That's I don't want to step on your toes.
It's still a little bit under wraps because it's not coming out until we think next year. But what I can tell you is it was all shot in Leeds. We cast it in Leeds. We street cast it with young people who hadn't acted before, who were great dancers. And we shot it in Chapeltown, which is, if we're talking about the culture of Leeds, an amazing culture of dance, the Northern School. Contemporary dances there, and it's set in a Saturday morning, half youth club, half dance troupe, and it's about the lives and loves of these incredible young people.
I'm really excited, actually.
I am as well.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. That was with forgive me if I'm wrong, that was with Screen Yorkshire, wasn't it?
Screen Yorkshire had a little bit to do with it. We also got some money from the Youth Content Fund, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. So I think like nearly every television production at the moment, we pulled in a bit of money from everywhere we could.
Yeah. So I'll let you answer it. Sorry.
You are based here in Leeds, so you started your career here in Leeds. What kind of advice would you give to creatives?
Yeah.
I think doing exactly what you guys are doing at the moment, which is demonstrating your passion for culture, for creativity. Don't get stuck on just television or just film. Try a little bit of everything. Build your CV up. Unfortunately, you have to do a lot of free work and a lot of voluntary work to get noticed. But if you really care about what area of culture you're interested in, whether it's writing, producing, music, whatever, you'll get noticed. And the more you get involved, the more contacts you make. Unfortunately, our industry is still not what you know, it's who you know to a certain extent. But go out there, make those contacts. As we always say, shy bairns getting out. So make sure you get noticed and get your voice heard.
Yeah, you heard it here. So that was your future we spoke about earlier. Let's rewind a little to your past. So what was it like coming up in the industry?
It was unusual for me. I didn't have any family who were involved in the industry, and it's still fairly nepotistic. There's a lot of nepo babies in our industry. I went down to London, did my degree, but came straight back to Leeds because London was not for me. And people said I wouldn't work, but actually there's production going on all over the country, and Leeds had Yorkshire Television, the BBC were bits here, lots of independent production companies. So I worked in factual television for a few years, carried on writing, and eventually got the right script under the right nose, which was the late Kay Mellor. Went to work for her, and then she gave me my first commission in television.
Love it.
That's
Excellent.
Would you say it is
Yeah.
easy for people to get into the industry?
It's tough. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It is tough at the moment. There is a slowdown of production. But as I say, if you demonstrate your passion, show that you care about the industry, you will get the right job eventually. Just don't expect to be a star overnight.
That is a really brilliant insight. Thank you very much for being here
Thank you
today.
for coming in. It's
My
been,
pleasure.
It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Make sure
And
to check
look
out
forward
Dance
Dance School.
Yeah, Channel 4. Yeah. Right, so now, if you're making a film or TV program and want to have someone's head exploding, a raging inferno, or a monsoon rainstorm, then the person to go to is Rob Rowley.
He runs a company called Rowley SFX in Rodley, and Alex went along to meet him.
So look.
Set up a few effects from things we've been doing this week on various shows. Smoke effects, gas bar flame. We've been setting up for a riot scene that's coming up. Got burning car, burning mattress, a load of people throwing things around. We've also got a glass mortar here that we fired off for when a car gets shot and the windows come in, let the glass across the actors. It's low pressure, and also a blood rig as well. You can see he's cleaning it up here. This would be rigged to an actor on the back, so when they've been shot in the head, sort of exit wound against the wall, classic kind of thing. I'm going to go for two sets of sparks in the middle of that steel plate. One. There's loads can go wrong, you know, and the whole part of the job is to try and minimize, foresee, remove things that can go wrong. Safety is a big, it is a big part of what we do. So I mean, things do go wrong, and you hear about things going wrong. There's some quite big cases in the news. No, touch wood.
Thank you, Rob, for showing us these amazing effects in your workshop. They'd be absolutely fantastic.
Now, when you think of a theatre group, you probably think of performers, but there's an award-winning group in Holbeck, Slunglow, where the focus is getting the community directly involved rather than just watching. Our Alex went along to find out more.
Based in Holbeck is a hidden gem known as Slunglow. It is an award-winning theatre company specialising in making epic production in non-theatre spaces. We talked to Matt, who is the head of venue.
We are really well integrated within the community. So everything we do is community focused, from where we've positioned. So the warehouse itself is slap bang in the middle of the Holbeck residential area. You can't get any closer to an audience. But at the same time, our ticketing system is pay what you decide. So if you come and see a show, our show, a touring show, there is no set fee, and you actually don't pay until you've seen it. So then there's it's an act of politics. So we can't tell you what anything's worth. Only you can make that choice yourself. So we're not going to say you need to pay this much. You just decide as you're leaving.
So what would you say separates Leeds from other cities in terms of creative arts?
I think there is a sense of pride within Leeds that you don't find anywhere else. I think Leeds is a brilliant place where you can just really open that up and channel that.
Now we have a real musical treat to end the show, courtesy of the fantastic Malaika, who is in the backstage here with us today. Hello, Malaika. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Great. What song will you be singing for us later on in the show?
I'll be singing my original song called Melbourne.
Ooh, can you tell us a bit more about it?
Melbourne's a song I wrote about jealousy and longing and yearning and just putting that all into one.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So what would you say inspires you to make music?
anything I'm going through, really, just any feeling I have, anything I think about, I put into lyrics and I make into music.
That's brilliant. And where are you based from?
Here from Leeds, yeah.
Here in Leeds, of course. What advice would you give to people, to young amateurs, musicians trying to get into the industry?
I think just go for it. Whatever opportunity you get, go for it and get as much experience as you can and make as many contacts as you can. And just don't doubt yourself. Really believe in yourself and just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have any channels where people can find you and check you out?
Yeah, I have a TikTok. It's Malika is on the bus home.
You've heard it right here today. I am so excited to hear you later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Malika.
Deborah, I've got some bad news. I'm getting some worrying information from our location producer about Darren and his trail challenge. Darren, what's going on, man? Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. To think I go to the gym. I tried a lap around the field and it was too much for me. And then, believe it or not, my cameraman decided to run off without me and do like 5 laps around the field. But at the end of the day, I think our researcher could run better than me. And I've seen a lot. And that's what's important in this day. Going around, looking at the different bits of creative art, it's not that important to really be able to run quicker, is it? Yeah, that's what I thought. It was really enlightening to see all of the art on display today. That was absolutely inspirational and really just so enlightening to watch. And honestly, yeah, who cares that I couldn't run around a stupid field at the end of the day? But that is all from me. Back to those at the studio.
Oh, poor Darren. Well, obviously, don't try that at a time. You know, don't do it at home, please. We don't want to get any lawsuits. Just take your time, enjoy all the wonderful images, and yeah.
That is very true. And that's just about it for today. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time. But thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed the show.
But as promised, Malika. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Of Melbourne, never to be seen, keeps to herself, but somehow I bleed when I hear about her life. I pass great, model mine on hers, and call it curiosity. Only worthy when I'm hurting, and I'm not hurt till I hurt like her. Strawberry laces tied around my waist, best not to swallow, to stay hollow and keep face. She was born with the ribbons stapled in place, not to move an inch. She was made to be chased. I'm only worthy when I'm hurting, and I'm not hurt till I hurt like her. I'm only worthy when I'm hurting, and I'm not hurt till I hurt like her. Fly me to Melbourne, show me the sea. Tell me I'm pretty, tell me please. Fly me to Melbourne, show me the sea. Tell me I'm pretty, pretty like she. Oh.